Hello and welcome back to my video series on setting up a craft business, or at least turning your craft hobby into a little sideline income. And today I wanted to have a little chat about how you sell the stuff you make. I cover this in my little guide that you can download, as well as a whole lot of other things, and that's on my website, and there'll be a link in the description just below. All the proceeds from the sale of my guide go to support people with bone marrow cancer. It goes to the MDS charity, so if you can, please support them. Hello, well, selling channels and how to use them. What I mean by this is things like websites, social media, and how you can actually sell your product, craft fairs, etc, etc. Well, one of the things, I've mentioned this before, you need to decide earlier on, and this is really important when you think about your selling channels, is whether you're going to go for custom or batch production. Now, the nice thing about custom work, i.e. making one-off items for your customers, and you get a reputation for being the person to go to for a nice piece of jewellery or a nice piece of pottery or a nice patchwork quilt or a nice leather belt. One of the nice things about doing custom work is you build up a lot of experience and you get this reputation for making things very nicely. Batch production, it's where you make a whole, like 20 items all the same in one go. And the great thing about batch production is you can generally make the things more quickly and therefore be able to sell them a bit more cheaply or make more profit, or both. And also you improve your accuracy because you're doing a lot of repetition. Both are their strong points. A lot of people start out doing custom work and then they migrate to batch. Some people very successfully carry on doing custom work. Now, I don't think it matters which way you decide to go. They're both good routes, but it can impact how you then use different selling channels. A lot of people with either approach do start off with selling to family and friends. And the great thing about selling to family is they can be quite forgiving, but also you can get to see the item in use and see how it wears. Or you can see if the person you've given it to really likes, the glaze on your vase, if they have it proudly displayed, or if it goes to the back of the cupboard. So it is a good way of getting a little bit of indirect feedback and opinion, and you can see how things are going. It's also a good way to build up your confidence before launching your things that you've made to the wider world. I think we all fear a bit of rejection. So yeah, family and friends, very good to start with. You'll get to a point obviously where you've saturated family and friends, and then you need to be thinking about a wider selling channel. Now, a lot of people again start off with craft fairs, and these are very good because the beauty of a craft fair is you see people handling the stuff that you've made, looking at it, you can hear their comments, and you're getting really valuable direct feedback. So it's a really good way of testing the market and seeing what people think and what they like about your things. You can talk to your customers and you'll find you'll get probably quite a bit of repeat business because they'll buy something, they'll like it, they know you're local, and they'll approach you and ask for more. So there's a lot going for craft fairs. Obvious downside with the craft fairs is that you have to get everything organised the day before, turn up at the craft fair, spend a whole day there, and you're carting all these things around. You have risk of items being acquired or stolen. Lots of little sort of downsides to it, but it's an enjoyable experience, quite wearing, but it's a good way of selling your items. The other beauty of craft fairs, of course, is you don't have to drive your traffic, your customers, to your website. They'll come along to the craft fair, so you've got a ready audience there. One word of big caution, I'd say, with craft fairs is bear in mind they are not all equal. If you're making craft items which are slightly upmarket, I would very strongly recommend you look for the makers fairs, the fairs where they select the sellers carefully. They make sure they don't have 4 people all doing bedspreads or whatever at one go, and so you have a far better chance of selling. You're in a better environment, you have more discerning customers coming along. I made a mistake of doing a craft fair which was at a school in an area where people weren't particularly affluent, and I had fairly premium products lined up against other sellers selling what I saw was tat, frankly. You want to avoid that sort of situation, but I've equally had other ones where it's just been the opposite in every respect and been really good. So they are a nice way, and you can turn over quite a lot of stock. So it's a good approach. If you want, you can, in tandem with a craft fair, run a website, because a lot of the websites now will do constant stock updating. So as soon as you sell something at the craft fair, it comes off your stock. It's very useful. So website providers like Shopify have that facility where you have constant stock updating, and you're not having to get home from the craft fair and start to sort of reconcile all the stock and check and do a whole stock count. So that's quite useful. I started off with craft fairs. I did find I spent an awful lot of time packing, taking stuff, spending time at the fair, etc. That I thought I could be making in this time, and I'd rather run a website. So I got into the websites. I started off with Etsy, which is a very good ready-made platform. So you can literally, in a day, have your craft items and put them up onto Etsy, and you've got a marketplace in front of you. And it's great because they handle all of the sort of complicated payment things. All you've got to do is basically, once you've got the order, wrap up your item, send it, and let your customer know. And it's that easy. It's really good. The big mistake most people make, well, two big mistakes starting out in Etsy. One is they have very poor photographs and very poor product descriptions. But the other big mistake I see so much, and have a look on Etsy, you'll see what I mean. They have shops which have only 4 items in them. I found it wasn't until I had about 20 items in my shop that people began to take me seriously. So that's a very big word of caution there. Make sure you've got enough items in your Etsy shop. And once you have, I made a lot of sales on Etsy. The reason I came off Etsy was they have quite a high transaction cost, and once you hit a certain volume, you've got to be selling quite a lot. It's actually cheaper to go across to a paid website like BigCommerce or Shopify or whoever, and actually pay their monthly charge than to use Etsy, because whilst there's still transaction costs, they are less, and you get to like a break-even threshold. So I moved across to Shopify once my sales were getting a reasonably good volume of sales. It became more cost effective. You can do the maths, you can work it out on what you're selling, see how many craft items you need to sell to make that change. But I find the big websites good. They're not perfect. Shopify is managed from Canada. It's not completely UK based. There are UK specific ones like New Monday, etc. But I still feel it's quite a good sort of setup. So I would say consider a website if you can get traffic to it. You see, the beauty of Etsy is you've got customers looking for items, so there's traffic there. If you have your own standalone website, you need to think about how you're going to get customers coming into your website. Some people do a blog, some people post on Facebook and Instagram. You can also obviously sell on those channels. Some people do TikTok videos, some people do YouTube videos like myself. But you do need to think of a mechanism to get customers coming into your website. Otherwise you'll have your website there and you won't be making many sales. So if you go down a website route, think about driving traffic to it. And you just have to dedicate time to doing Instagram posts, Instagram stories, find out people on forums. Perhaps if you're, say, making pens, you go and get active on pen makers forums or pen collectors forums, and you try and spread the word of what you're doing. And you'll find all those sorts of things. Try and get yourself in a local magazine or national, even if you can. But a lot of magazines want to fill up space. They'll take pictures and photos for a human story. Try and get in there. But you do have to work at it and put some effort in. So that's an option. The other thing that some people do, if you don't like the idea of any of this sort of selling, face to face or on a website, is to consider going wholesale. So you make items and then you sell them to a shop in a batch, and the shop will then sell them with a markup to make their profit. Wholesale, it's always, to me, a little bit impersonal in a way. You've got the dealing with a shop, but that's all you've got. But it does mean you can focus on the making if that's what you want to do solely. So it's not such a bad approach. You avoid all the hassle of having to keep social media, of keeping websites and all those sorts of things. You literally just make it and sell it. Obviously, you're not going to be able to sell it for as much as you would say on a website. The shop will take its cut. Normally sort of like 1.5 times, 2 times your sort of selling prices. And they'll expect you to probably trim your prices down to what you would normally be selling at as well. So there is less scope probably to make profit unless you can do some volume there. But it's worth bearing in mind. So yeah, selling channels. Some people, of course, just do things like work at a particular time of year, like Christmas. Suits some people. Most craftspeople will be selling probably 1/3 to half of their total sales in the lead up to Christmas. It's the gifting time. It's great for craft people. So some people just take the view, well, I'll do other things during the year, and then in the lead up to Christmas, I'll do all the fairs I can and I'll sell all my product. So that's another way of thinking about it. But yeah, certainly if you want to do websites, etc., think of your social media and work at that. Okay, hope that helps. See you in the next one. Bye bye.